Hi guys, today I'm going to show you how I made my Ray cattail. I tried something really new for this, but for the base I just got some wire that I doubled up and to the desired length. There's the exact wire I got pictured. Then I went ahead and covered each end with some tape. I recommend electrical tape, but I couldn't find any, so I just used normal Scotch tape. That's just to prevent the little ends from stabbing you. For the stuffing part, I actually went ahead and used bubble wrap. I know this is a really weird material to use, but it's what I had, and I felt like, why not? Let's try something new. So I went ahead and measured the desired length. I made sure that there was a little bit of wire sticking out at the end. That's going to be really important for the end. Here I'm just testing out to see how much bubble wrap I actually need. I ended up doubling it with 2 layers of bubble wrap, but I ended up not needing all of it, so I'd say like 1.5 is all I really needed. Then I just used hot glue to stick it to the end. Or sorry, stick each layer to it. This was kind of a long process, so just take your time with it and make sure to get every little piece and make sure it's as tight as possible. Also, if you have a hot glue gun that gets really warm, I don't recommend using one of those because then that might melt the plastic. So I just used like a medium temperature one. But yeah, this was probably the part that took the longest, just because I had to go in and make sure each inch of it was covered with hot glue. See, I ended up not needing all of the sheets, so I just cut it when I was happy with it, and then glued the ends. You could probably also use like batting, which is essentially like the stuffing that they use for quilts for this, but I didn't have any and I kind of just wanted to experiment and use what I had because I thought it would be just a fun change of pace. And then for the very end, I kind of trimmed it up to a rounded end and then put hot glue on it so that it was just really rounded and made sure that the wire couldn't poke through. And I just double checked everything and there you have it. You have a noodle. For the outside, I went ahead and made this like casing for it out of this like really short faux fur. It wasn't really faux fur, it was just more like a really soft, like, lapel. I don't know what the word is for it, but a really soft material. You can also probably use faux fur, but I didn't want that for the look. I also ended up adding a little bit of the gray fur, of the same fabric in gray at the end for a little bit of effect. Then I went ahead and just turned it inside out, put it on top of the tail. I recommend making it a little tighter than you think you need because mine was a little loose on it and ended up creating wrinkles when the tail was bent, and I do wish I had made it tighter, but there's nothing I can do about it right now. Then I just glued the ends down. You can also sew them down if you want. I recommend that. Sorry, I didn't realize I was so off camera. But I'm just basically pulling it taut and covering all of that bubble wrap with the fur. and that's how I made the tail part. So next up, I am going to be showing you how I made the base that it attaches to. I basically wanted to make it detachable so that I could put on a costume and then maybe put a little hole in the costume that I could slip it in. Basically for the base, I got some elastic to the desired length, which was just my waist. Some felt. I ended up using this like leather because I couldn't find any white felt, but I recommend felt. And I just sandwiched it in between the felt and a circle made out of PVC board. You could probably use other things, but that's just what I had on hand. Just has to be something sturdy and flat. I also ended up using a little bit of super glue because of the fact that I used the leather. I honestly regretted it. And I don't recommend using the backside leather, but that's just all I had on hand. I then took another piece of PVC board and basically ironed it to make it malleable, because that's a fun thing about PVC board is it actually is a thermoplastic. You can also use a heat gun for this. I just didn't feel like pulling out my heat gun right now. And then I basically draped it over a shape that I thought would hold the existing tail really well. I'll show you in just a section. But yeah, just make sure to also have like foil or something in between, just so you don't accidentally get the PVC board on your iron, because it is very sticky. So you can see I just used a paintbrush for the end to kind of like give it a little bit of a shape that I wanted. It wasn't perfect, but it works. You could also alternatively use probably like a pen barrel or something like that, or just any round object that you can glue on to the back of that. I just, once again, was working with what I had. So as you can see, it's like a little almost hill shape that's hollow, and I'll show you how to attach it in a second, but here's me just kind of messing with it, making sure it's the right shape. I then glued that onto the base I made earlier. My hot glue gun died, so I'm using fire to do that. I don't recommend that. Just use a hot glue gun or take the extra time to go buy one. But I was dumb and mine died. And I'm very impatient. I also made sure to put hot glue around the edges to make sure it was just very, very secure and it wouldn't just pop off on accident while I'm wearing it. So the way you attach the tail is you just slip it right in. This way you can put that on before you even get into costume, and then just like slip that through like a part of the costume. I recommend flipping it over so it's the opposite way of how I have it in this picture right here. It's a little bit more secure. You'll see at the end it's kind of flopping around. I figured out later on that I could just flip it over and it'll be a lot more secure. Here's how it looks. It's obviously not perfect, but I thought it was like a really cool like addition to the costume. It was very like, had a lot of movement to it, and I could, because of the wire, I could shape it however I wanted. So I hope you enjoy. And I hope this tutorial is useful for you guys in the future. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.